Thursday, November 29th. It's been something of a week. For those of you new to my channel, my name is Callie. I'm a teacher in Central California, and yeah, so it's been kind of a week. Was going to vlog on Monday, and I just didn't get a chance, and then I had a meeting right after school. Tuesday I did vlog a little bit, but the camera battery died almost immediately, and then yesterday I was out sick. Also Monday and Tuesday I was just so low energy. I just probably Tuesday I couldn't vlog because my camera battery died. Monday I could have tried, but I was so exhausted all day, and it was because I was getting sick. And so yesterday I stayed home, it's so hard to call in sick, but my throat was super swollen and I could barely swallow, and all I did all day was sleep, and I feel much better now. I'm still a little tired, but I really needed that day. So, and now I'm back today, and it is a rainy day, so the kids are super hyper because it's raining. They just did an announcement saying that for their recess they are going to get to play. Our school backs up to the local YMCA, and we share a gate, so part of the grant or the agreement that we wrote with them, or the principal wrote with them, is that the kids will be able to go over there during lunch recess to play. So this is, I believe, the first time that they're doing that, so I'm sure they're going to be super hyper. We're also doing a lot of fun things in class. We're rehearsing for our winter performance, which is in 2 weeks. Next week we're starting rehearsals with the whole grade level. So Monday and Tuesday, not the whole grade level, the whole lower grade. Monday and Tuesday we actually came into my room, all the second graders, and the third grade teacher who's in charge taught us all the hand motions to the songs. And then we did that Monday and Tuesday. So today we're going to be practicing. I did film her so I would know the hand motions. I'm getting pretty good at the I'll Be Home for Christmas, but we're also singing the song Happy by Pharrell Williams, and we just learned those hand movements, and I'm not good, but luckily I have them on my iPad, so I'll be able to do that and teach the kids. And then there's one song that I haven't played for the kids at all, so we're going to be doing that today. So I think we'll be doing that next. I'm not entirely sure because we're behind from yesterday, but that's okay. We actually, in math, we were a lesson ahead because I got through 2 lessons the other day, but then on Tuesday, and then being yesterday, now we're exactly on track, which is good. So yeah, after that, we're doing compound sentences this week, which is one of my least favorite skills, just because it's too hard for the kids to do independently. So it's a lot of doing it together, which is not the best way to teach, to be perfectly honest. But I've tried before. The first year I tried to have the kids do it by themselves, and they just didn't understand what to do. So we'll do that together. And then we're writing. We did research. We looked through the story Jellies, which was our story from right before Thanksgiving break, and then we pulled a bunch of facts from those. So now we're going to be writing our rough draft, and then tomorrow we'll probably write our final draft. Although I don't know, I found an activity online where we're reading the story Click Clack Boo, and the kids take the position as one of the cows, and they ask the farmer for something else in a friendly letter, or persuasive friendly letter. So I kind of want to do that. So we might be doing that tomorrow instead of doing our final draft of Jellies, but we'll see. There's, it's kind of a play as you go week. I don't think I'm gonna have a chance to vlog at lunch because there's a fly on my water bottle. I don't think I'll have a chance to vlog at lunch because lunch is short because of its rainy day schedule, and I'm behind. I usually do my lesson plans on Wednesday, and I didn't get a chance to do those yesterday. So I need to work on those, and then I will catch up with you probably after school then, either after school or last recess, we'll see. But yeah, so that's the state of me right now. I hope you all are having a good day, and I'm just trying to get through this rainy day. All right, I'll talk to you later. Hey everyone, so it is last recess right now, and oh my goodness, it has been just a crazy day. so right, it was like not raining all morning, and then as soon as we go to recess, it starts pouring. Now we were on rainy day schedule anyway, but trying to take 30, I had my kids plus 4 from 4th grade. Trying to take all these kids to the multi in the pouring rain is just a disaster in the making, especially because there is a dip right in front of my door, so that gathers a huge puddle. So trying to get them, don't jump in the puddle, don't splash in the puddle, don't fall in the puddle, just, so we did that. So they come back from recess a little wired. So I decided, let's go ahead and practice our music for the Christmas music. For the winter program, and we did pretty good. We're doing, like I said, I'll be home for Christmas with sign language, and I've got some of it, and others I just don't. And I looked at the video again, and it's because I don't know this verse. It's not one that I'm familiar with, so I'm trying to learn the words and the sign language at the same time, and it's just not working. So I just needed to practice it at home. And then we sang that great, wonderful traditional Christmas song, Happy by Pharrell Williams, which is one of my least favorite songs. So I don't know the words, because whenever it comes on the radio, I hear dun, 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 and I change the station right away. So I watched the video, we re-went over the hand signals, we did it with the music, then we got to another part and I couldn't remember the hand signals, so I watched it again, we did it again, and then they started to get more and more crazy. So finally I'm like, you know what, we don't need to do the hand signals, we have all next week to practice it, let's practice singing the words. So we sang all the words for that. We did Up on the Housetop, which we know the movements and the song, everything too, so that was fine. And then we sang a new song, which the first grade teacher chose. We always sing a song in Spanish. So this year we chose this one called La Piñata, which I had never heard before. Usually it seems that the Spanish songs we choose are a little bit slow. Like my favorite is Los Campanas, which is about the bells that ring at Christmas, and I really like that song. But that's not what we chose this year, and this song is not slow. So I handed out, and half the kids are freaking out because they don't know how to speak Spanish. I said, it's okay, we can figure it out, we just need to practice it. And then I turned the song on, and it is so fast, and I'm like, I don't even know if I can teach this. So that's another one I'm gonna have to go. So they're all riled up from singing. We go into math, and we're doing adding two-digit numbers with regrouping. And to do that, I teach them first, there's this graphic organizer. I got this one from, I believe it's Simply Skilled in 2nd grade. But I think it's up on TPT now. I got it before it was up on TPT. It was just on the blog. So I teach them how to do this, where they draw the tens, and then they put the ones in, and then they regroup and see that they have 10 ones and regroup. Now, this was the first lesson, I know, but there were so many things that I have not run into before, like kids going, oh, it's 52, so I'm going to put 5 tens and 2 ones plus 27, or 5 tens and then 2 tens instead of 5 tens and 2 ones, plus 27, so I'm going to put 2 tens and 7 tens. Like, I've never had that before. So I had like 5 kids who got it, and then a bunch of kids who were all in different places of understanding it. So I'm running around trying to do all of that and get them, and it was just, we didn't finish the lesson, which is fine, and we'll finish it tomorrow, we'll go on to the next one, we're just going to keep doing it. I don't, like, the book goes, it teaches them this, it teaches them how to draw pictures, and then it throws them into the standard algorithm, which is not even something that 2nd graders are supposed to be learning. So I keep them doing this, or using, breaking up into tens and hundreds, tens and ones, and adding using expanded form. So that's all I'm going to keep doing. But so that was crazy. So then we went to lunch, and we took them to the YMCA, which I don't know, for some reason I thought they were going to have organized games, like over here you'll do jump ropes, and over here you'll throw the ball back and forth, or maybe like have a group activity where they would put on Go Noodle or something. I don't know why I thought this. I really don't. Because I walked in and it was freaking chaos. Kids were running all over the place. I think there were a few basketballs, but it was just kids. They were playing tag, which they're not supposed to. It's a big deal at our school. Don't play tag. They're screaming. They're yelling. Teachers are coming to pick up their kids, and they're leaving before they have their full class. So then they're having to get people to go walk. They were having to go through the front door, which is right by the parking lot. So that always scares me, because I'm afraid one of my kids is going to run into the parking lot. it was madness. It was madness. So they came in, and I could barely get them to walk in the line. Oh, and there is a big swimming pool over on the path that we usually take. It's completely filled with water. So luckily I have good rain boots because I walked through it, but I'm like, well, I have to go the long way to take my kids back. But it didn't matter. They found every little puddle and kicked water all over each other. One girl has a best friend who has an umbrella, but she wanted to show that she didn't have an umbrella, so she got completely soaked on the way back. So they came in, their faces are all bright red, and they're panting. So I'm like, you know what? You're going to give me 5 minutes of quiet time. So I told them all to put their heads down. I put on Christmas music without any words, Celtic Christmas music, and we just sat there for 5 minutes and cooled down. And then we did our lesson on compound sentences, which I'm going to continue into next week because they're not getting how to combine them. And then we did our jellyfish research, which I went so slow because this is the first time we've done this, the research project, so we're doing it all together. So they're helping me put the sentences together, and then I was writing them on the paper, and I'm like writing super slow and giving them time. And I still have like 10 kids who aren't finished. So we're going to continue that on our way back. Oh, I was supposed to copy RTI stuff, and I completely forgot, but that's fine. We usually on Thursday play RTI games anyway, short vowel games, so that's what we'll do. I just didn't want to because I get so bored during those games sometimes, but it's fine. We'll just play that. We'll play one game for 15 minutes and another game for another 15 minutes, and then it'll be time to go home. And then I did start lesson planning, but like I said, I realized that they just have a lot of holes when it comes to compound sentences. And next week it's this silly lesson where they are producing compound sentences. So taking two simple sentences, putting them together as a compound sentence, and then going, oh, I can make it more interesting by adding adjectives. And there's one that's like, he listened to hot rock and smooth jazz. I'm like, they don't even know what jazz is. Why would they ever be able to come up with adjectives to describe what kind of jazz? Like, they don't have to use the adjective smooth, but considering they don't know what jazz is, it's pretty hard for them to come up with any adjectives. So I think we're just going to continue taking simple sentences and putting them together. I did find an activity on TPT that we're going to do on Monday. And then I'm going to, I think, purchase a couple other ones, or at least one other, and then we'll just do those all week. And it's going to be a hard week anyway because we've got rehearsals for our winter performance during part of our grammar time and all our writing time. So I was planning on I was thinking, we started at 2:35, but we're actually starting at 12. We're starting at 12:20, so we're not going to have a lot of time for grammar at that time or the end of the day. Which is fine. We'll get it. And it's 2 weeks to Christmas plus a couple days, and we'll get it all done. It always gets done. It's just a crazy time of year. So my bell's about to ring. I'm going to go pick up the rest of the kids. I'm going to go pick up the kids, and we're going to finish copying down our jellyfish. Hopefully get some handwriting practice in, which is just printing, because that they need printing practice, and then we'll go to RTI. So I will probably catch up with you at the end of the day. Bye. All right, so I made it to the end of the day. It went okay. It was very frustrating. The kids who hadn't finished copying down the jellyfish paragraph just wouldn't, and it wasn't like a couple of them didn't know where to start from. That was fine. I showed them where they left off and where to pick up. But like one girl, she hadn't skipped lines like I had asked them to. And when I said, well, just go ahead and skip lines from now on. And then she still didn't, and even asked me, well, what happens if I don't skip lines? And I was like, you're in second grade. You should just be doing what I ask. I didn't say that. I said, well, you didn't up until now, but just go ahead and do it from now on. Which it turns out it was a good thing I was having them skip lines because I left out part of the story or part of the research. So we're going to have to go back and add that in, and we'll add it in on one of the lines they skipped. I don't know what she's going to do, unfortunately, because she did finally start skipping lines, but she kept talking all of them. They kept stopping and talking and turning, and yeah, it's just a very chatty class, and me being absent yesterday and then the rainy day today didn't help the chattiness at all. We did RTI, that was fine, and then again, trying to get out of here was a disaster just because some kids didn't come back until like 3 minutes after the bell rang, and I'm trying to get the rest of the kids to sit down in their seats and sit quietly, and I turn around to talk to somebody who had a question, and I turn back around and like 4 kids are at the door with their heads out the door. It's like, sit down. So that took a while, but I finally got them all packed up and all back in the class and all sitting quietly, and I was dismissing quiet tables, and the tables that weren't being dismissed were chat, 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 chat. So finally, the kids that were talking said, hey, you don't seem to understand what's going on. I'm looking around for kids who are sitting quietly, like, you know, this student is sitting nice and quietly and sitting up tall and listening, and then I'm letting them go. And if you're going to sit there and talk, you're not going to get to go until very last. And then that student would quiet down, and then another student, talk, and so I do the same thing. It's just like they don't get it unless I explicitly lay it out for them like that. So that's just what I'm going to have to do. So yeah, so I also got some lesson planning done. I actually got all my lesson plans done for next week. I don't know what is going to happen next week because it's crazy. We come back from lunch at 12:05, and we have from 12:05 to 1:05, and I do grammar, spelling, and writing in that time. But we're going to go and practice the winter performance starting at 12:20. Well, that's when we're supposed to be there, so 5 minutes travel time. So I really have from 12:05 to 12:15 to do something, and it was really frustrating because I got this cool activity off of TPT where they're building compound sentences. So they have the beginning of the sentence in one color, the end of the sentence in another, and then the conjunction and the comma in a third. And I wanted to do this on Monday and have them put together the sentences, and then there's a recording sheet, and I was going to have them work in pairs. But I just don't see how we're going to have enough time. Even if I start it, like explain what we're doing before we go to the practice. I was like, okay, we'll start it then. I'll explain the rules, and then we'll go to the practice. They go to lunch. They go to recess, and we'll come back, and they're not going to remember what the activity is anymore. So I'll have to explain it again, and then they do it. And really, we only have about 20, maybe 25 minutes, and then we have to get all packed up and go to RTI. So I just don't think that's going to be enough time for this activity. So I was like, okay, we'll do it Tuesday. Well, Tuesday we have library, which means we're not going to have any time to do language at all because I have to do math, which I just found out. I looked on our pacing calendar that we as a second grade group created, and somehow I got really far behind. I'm supposed to be done with this chapter tomorrow. I'm at least a week and a half away. But anyway, so we're gonna have to do math tomorrow, but when we come back from lunch, and then when we come back afterwards, and then we go to RTI again. Wednesday is our short day, and Wednesday is also the day I believe we start going to practice. Yeah, Wednesday we start going to practice in the YMCA. I think I could be wrong, and then yeah. So I don't see, maybe if we cancel RTI, we can get some work done. But so this is going to have to be Friday when I have a little bit of extra time. But I wanted that to be the first activity. So that's a little disappointing. Unless I just do it during ELA proper. But it's going to take at least 45 minutes to do this activity, I anticipate. And I don't even have that much time to do that. So we'll see. This is a story that I'm not particularly fond of this week. It's all music. It's just very boring. So the plan was to read it twice and then to go back to Click Clack Moo and do those friendly letters, because we didn't start those, so where they're pretending to be cows and asking Farmer Brown for another something else. So I don't know. I'll have to think about it, but it's a little overwhelming. I have that Holidays Around the World unit that I got last year, and we did, and they had a lot of fun, especially the Hanukkah part, because Hanukkah starts on the 3rd. I don't know if it starts the 2nd or the 3rd, but the 3rd is the first day because it started. So I like doing Hanukkah because I am Jewish, and I like having them play dreidel. And that was so much fun last year. They enjoyed it so much. So that'll have to be the last week. But again, that last week, again, a crazy schedule because on Tuesday we have our dress rehearsal in the morning. So that usually takes about 40 minutes to an hour. So that takes the entire morning. And then Wednesday we're doing our sing-along where a local band comes in and plays Christmas songs. And that usually is done the last day, the Friday before we go, but they were booked. So we're doing it on Wednesday. And then Thursday is when the upper graders are doing their dress rehearsal for the performance, so that's another morning lost. And then I don't know what we're doing on Friday. I don't know if we're doing anything on Friday, but so I could do the Hanukkah game that Friday morning, which is probably what's going to happen now that I think about it, which actually will be good because there's not going to be any learning done the last Friday. So that's probably, I've got that settled. So yeah, so I've got all my copies done except for a few that I forgot, and I'm not going to do them now because I'm getting hungry and my throat's starting to hurt again, and I'm just ready to go home. Plus I want to try, it's not raining too hard right now, so hopefully if I leave now I can beat the rain. But yeah, so I'm going to end today here, and then I will pick up tomorrow and vlog again. So see you tomorrow. Hey everybody, today is Friday, November 30th. It is the last day of the week, which it shouldn't have felt, well, it didn't really feel like a long week, and not just because I was sick halfway through. It moved at a pretty good pace this week, but man, today has been a very long day. It's just been a lot of little things that have gone wrong, not necessarily in class, but leading up to the day. So I haven't been in the most cheerful mood with the kids. I'm doing my best. Math went the best. We continued working on adding 2-digit numbers with regrouping, working on our work mats, and they seem to get it a lot better today. Some of the kids who were really struggling yesterday, like a light bulb went on and they're like, oh, I get it. And then I had a nice small group that I had to pull, and even some of them were getting it. They just were mixing up their 10s and 1s, or were confused when a number didn't have any 10s at all. So that worked. So I had originally planned to do 2 lessons today, but I had so many different things going on. Some of the kids were ahead, some of the kids were behind. I decided not to do it. I have an enrichment group that I took an idea from Janice Wan, who is also on YouTube. She used to be Wan Happy Teacher, but I just noticed that she changed it to just her name. But she had an enrichment group design games. So that's what I did with my kids. I had 8 kids, I don't remember how many, 4 groups of 2, so 8, who just passed their last formative assessment 100%, and they've been getting 100% on everything. So I told them that they were going to design a math game. It could be a card game, a board game, and then 2 of the girls decided that they wanted to do a dice game, which I hadn't thought of, so they could make a dice game. And it had to be based on math facts and of a math concept of some kind, and you know, that was pretty much the only rule. I should have been a little bit more explicit or guided them a little bit more, because they were a little confused and it took a lot of guidance, especially with the writing the rules. They weren't sure how to make the rules, but they've come up with good games. One of the groups did a Make 20 game, which is a card game where they pull numbers from a pile and they can get up to 5 cards. The numbers go from 1 to, or they actually put A. I was like, what does A stand for? They're like, oh, it's 1. So it goes from 1 up to 20. So they pull the cards and they try to add the numbers up to get 20, and whoever makes 20 10 times wins the game. So they're already done with their game. I have another group are doing something called Jellyfish Dash, which is an addition game where they have jellyfish on a board, which is what they're doing right now. They pull cards and they have to add the numbers on, and on the board are jellyfish with the numbers on it, and they're going to put counters on the numbers. The third group is doing, I think it's an addition game. I don't remember. They were the ones that were done first or second, I think. So I haven't looked at their game for a while. So they're designing their board. And the third group, or the last group, is doing the dice game where they're comparing 3-digit numbers. Theirs is the most complicated. I did kind of guide them the most because they were the most confused. So their game is each player rolls 3 dice and they compare. Whoever has the biggest number is going to move a space on the board. And then this is where it's like, okay, do you just want them to move the whole board, or do you want to have spaces where they might have to move back or move forward? So they decided, well, if they land on a blue space, they get to stay. If they land on a red space, they have to move back 3 spaces. So that was all I guided them to do. They've since decided if they land on a purple space, you get to jump a space. If you land on, or jump 2 spaces. If you land on a multicolored space, you get to go anywhere on the board that you want. And I think there's another color somewhere in there. So it's getting very complicated. So they're coloring their board right now. So they're all going well. I'm going to somehow get the kids to play some of these games when we have time. I'm going to have the principal come in and see the games, and it's been a really good activity for them. So they got to work on that. The rest of the kids were working on Prodigy. I do have at least one kid that I need to pull because I need to reteach how to do word problems with 2 and 3 add-ins. Because she bombed that test, and it's her math is a concern, so they're on SST, so I need to do some review with her, but I didn't have that set up, so I just had them work on Prodigy. And then, but like another thing that we did wrong is I completely forgot to send my Lexia kids to, that's the iPad intervention group. I completely forgot to send them today. I don't know what I was thinking. So yeah, so it's just been little things like that. But it's rolling along. We're going to come back in. We're going to work on our jellyfish. We're going to do our final draft of the jellyfish research report, and then we're going to do typing. We'll go to recess. We'll come back from recess, and we'll practice our Christmas performance songs, and then it'll be Fun Friday. So it should be an easy day for the rest of the day. Hopefully everything goes right and no more things like the toilet randomly breaking, so we're down to 1 toilet, or we're all out of paper towels in the bathrooms, or things falling off my wall. Just all, like I said, all these little things. I've just been piling up all morning. 5 kids didn't put their names on their homework. And just things like that. And I tell them I'm not going to try and track down whose homework it is, and then I do anyway. Or they come by and they're like, oh, that's my homework. I'm like, oh, write your name. I said it 4 times as you were turning it in. So, but like I said, teaching-wise, it's been pretty smooth. I have no idea. No, that wasn't my bell. I can't tell whose bell is what anymore. But yeah, so the rest of the day should be an easy roll, and then I get to go home and start my weekend, which I really need because I have just not been feeling well all weekend, and I'm finally starting to feel better. So I'm ready to relax while feeling well instead of relaxing while feeling horrible. So I will catch up with you again after school. All right, it is now the end of the day. Like I said, it went pretty smoothly going from the end. Writing took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, just because a lot of them we did the rough draft yesterday, and I wrote it and they copied it down, but a lot of them wrote it really sloppy, or they couldn't read their writing, and they just couldn't read what they were writing. So I went ahead and redid the final draft, because we also did have to leave to add in a detail because I had forgotten one of the details. And so they were either copying my copy or they were copying what they did. But anytime I moved from the very front of the room, like to go do work on something or go put something away, they would start talking. And because I kept having to stop and remind them to writers write, writers don't sit and talk, writers need to write, it took a lot longer than I thought. So I'd hoped that it would take maybe a half an hour, and then they would have a half an hour to do typing skills. But I think I got 4 kids, maybe a little bit more, onto the typing, and the rest, I think most of them did finish their final drafts, but it took them almost the whole hour just to write a few sentences. Maybe it was more. It was probably the longest story we've written, which might have been it. They don't quite have the stamina yet, but that was fine. Then we came back from recess and we practiced our Christmas songs for the holiday performance, and they're getting better. I still need to practice some of the hand movements for I'll Be Home for Christmas, and I'm giving up on Happy, but they kept begging, can we do the pinata song? Can we do the pinata song? I'm like, well, it's in a separate email, so let's do these 3 first, and then we'll do the pinata song. Well, before we did it, I wanted to try and give the students who don't speak or read Spanish or know the song a chance to learn it a little bit. So I was doing echo, where I would say a line and they would read it back. Well, I don't speak Spanish, so I was doing my best, but I had some kids who were laughing so hard every time I said a word even the slightest bit wrong. And then shouting, no, it's really loud over and over, so I couldn't hear them. So finally I had to stop because, okay, they're laughing at me. I'm being silly. Well, I wasn't being silly. I was doing my best. But, that's one thing. But I know I have kids in the class who don't speak Spanish. And I even said to this kid, like, when you speak English and you say something wrong, do I or the other students in class, do we laugh at you? No. So is it nice or respectful to laugh at me? Because I don't speak Spanish. I'm just doing my best. Is it nice to laugh at me? No. So we had to have that talk because I knew it was getting the kids who don't speak it and who didn't know it. I could see that they were kind of folding in on themselves, like, I'm not even going to try. And I kept telling them, you can sing songs in languages you don't know. It's perfectly possible, but you just have to practice and try. So then I put the music on, and none of them sang. All the kids who were begging and begging. So it turns out they don't really know the whole song. They know the end of the song, which is this chant that they do. And they were all excited to do it, and they got out of time with the music, and I stopped them. I said, okay, you need to listen. I'm going to clap. But the beat isn't quite steady. It like speeds up in the middle of words. So it was very hard. So we did that. We cleaned up the class, and then we went to Fun Friday, which was fun. I do coloring in my room. Sometimes I do painting, but mostly I do coloring. So we colored and listened to Disney music, and then we went home, and that was my day. So I'm going to try and vlog more next week. Hopefully I'll be feeling better. Like I said, I'm feeling a lot better now than I was at the beginning of the week. I know this is kind of a boring vlog, but that's how things are sometimes. It's just very steady and very routine. And the next 2 weeks, though, do not look to be routine at all. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to hit like and subscribe to see more content, and have a wonderful day.